When I went to university, I was so focused on studying theater, that's what I wanted to do. I was even convinced that that's what God wanted me to do. It didn't even occur to me that I could study theater at a Catholic university.
Well, you know what, when I went to Thomas Aquinas College, it was very clear for me what my criteria were. One was that it had to be a small Catholic college and it had to be faithful to the teachings of the magisterium.
And so, as prospective university students looking for a Catholic university, what do you look for?
And so here we are at the University of St. Thomas in Houston, Texas, for part 2 of this Catholic focus on what a Catholic university looks like.
Catholic University is a place that fosters a lot of individual interests and does so by emphasizing compassion and also practicality.
I think a lot of what makes a university Catholic is the mission and the vision of the university as a whole.
Being in a Catholic university for the past 4 years has taught me that it combines the intellect tradition and the faith together and teaches you that they don't contradict. That one, what you know from your faith, you know from your intellect, and that a Catholic university combines the two.
A Catholic university generally has a chapel, and you also see lots of priests and nuns running around. As an important part of the curriculum, you see a lot of, at least at our university, theology and philosophy, a real attempt to inform the mind and heart of the person.
It seems that students know how a Catholic university should be, and their criteria tie very much together with John Paul II's Apostolic Constitution, Ex Corde Ecclesiae, from the heart of the Church, which states that the identity of a Catholic university is essentially linked to the quality of its teachers and to respect for Catholic doctrine. The students who attend the University of St. Thomas in the heart of Houston, Texas, choose this university because it fits the criteria for them.
First thing that jumps out at me is the presence of the chapel. To, walk a couple of steps and you're at the chapel here at St. Thomas, and I love having that, being able to go to Mass when I wanted to.
Well, the University of St. Thomas has a specialized degree in Thomistic philosophy, which is unique in North America, and a strong interest in studying St. Thomas, and this was the place to do it.
I came to this university because I was drawn to the International Studies program. Subsequently, in my time here, the teachings of love and community really fit well with what I want to do for my career and how I think the world should work.
Here at St. Thomas, we have a really strong theology department, and that really helps us to learn more about our faith and the background and so many different areas that we could possibly want to study about. We have them, we offer them, and I love that going into a classroom and studying with a priest or a sister, someone on campus who is in the religious life, really helps us to connect with that aspect of our faith and really realize what we have.
Well, this Catholic university, it's awesome. It's all about community. It's so easy to become a family with everyone because they offer so many activities for so many different people. We have 33 clubs that students have made, and it offers so much. It's awesome. And the faculty is awesome.
The University of St. Thomas was founded by the Congregation of St. Basil in 1947 to provide lower-income students the opportunity of a private Catholic liberal arts post-secondary education.
And so they tried to set up an institution that would serve people who were not very high on the social scale but were intellectually curious and had probably come out of Catholic schools, and just to introduce them to the great traditions of Catholic thought. And I suppose our heroes were Thomas Aquinas and Jacques Maritain and Gilson, Newman, and so on.
The Basilian tradition in particular has been to try to speak simply with the voice of the Church, meaning not only pronouncements and documents as they come out, and I think the more important understanding is, do you think with the Church? Do you have that habitus of understanding, of practicing, of believing, of of looking for the truth in all of its dimensions and deepest dimensions.
UST has a smaller population than most universities, and the fact that it's in the middle of a large city is also attractive.
We are an urban institution, more engaged directly with culture. I think we have to face more directly right across the street the artistic community with all its strengths and weaknesses, and be able to speak to people at the Mann Foundation about surrealistic art. We are in an urban city where we have these questions of immigration. Well, any number of questions.
We are open to, this very cosmopolitan city in which we live, and in this very changing, demographic in which the university exists and operates.
Some Catholic universities are described as immersion universities, in that every aspect of student life is Catholic. Others, such as UST, can be referred to as persuasion universities.
A persuasion university has a significant population of Catholic faculty and administrators, a significant proportion of Catholic students, but also a significant minority of in all those areas, faculty, administration, and students who are not Catholic.
We are not off in some place out of the way, in the swamps of Florida, across the river from Pittsburgh, or Christendom, which is up in the mountains of Virginia, or TAC in the mountains of California. I just wonder if they have the opportunity, like we have, to engage the culture in the most direct way without taking a more defensive posture, as if we have to be removed from the world.
The University of St. Thomas offers many programs which prepare students for professional life, while grounding them in the liberal arts with a strong core curriculum.
Our core curriculum heretofore has been very broad and very diverse, with a strong foundation in philosophy and theology, as well as a sequence of courses in English and history, distribution requirements in the other major disciplines. It's been impressive in its range and in its depth, and in its commitment to philosophy and theology in particular.
But it's also taken together. These are properly sequenced, so students get a really clear sense of the ordering of knowledge to help students see the connections across the disciplines. And then this liberal arts core provides a common experience for all students, so that there's something emblematic about a St. Thomas student. We took that core, which embraced this realm of knowledge, and it becomes distinctive insignia for a St. Thomas graduate.
What I liked most about St. Thomas was actually the core curriculum and the requirements, because no other university that I researched, at least, offered the degree of philosophy and theology into their actual core requirement, and I thought that was just amazing, because it basically just showed that the university was different and they welcomed different. And so that was just something that I thought was very inspiring in comparison to other universities.
I had an irate parent come and ask, why does my kid need to take your Theology 101? He's been through high school, he doesn't need to study the catechism. I have a hard time answering that. But I could say, I'm not sure your son has really encountered on a collegiate level the reading of St. Augustine or St. Athanasius or Cardinal Newman.
It makes sense that a strong core curriculum based on Catholic theology appeals to Catholic students. But 40% of the student body is non-Catholic. What do they get out of it?
I think it's important we learn things like philosophy, critical thinking, theology, and I am Catholic, so a lot of it's new to me, but none of it's, too shocking. But I don't find that, they're overbearing. I don't find that they're forceful, and they don't make you feel like you need to be Catholic to come here. I mean, it's, it's pretty open, and it seems like most of the students respond positively towards philosophy and theology. They seem to learn a lot despite, varying religions or, no religion at all.
St. Thomas does offer teachings of the Protestant Church and Judaism. but those are not required. Teachings of the Catholic Church, it's required of everybody whether or not you are Catholic. So, I mean, it's good to go and to see, you know, what the Catholic faith is all about, which really there weren't a lot of differences that I found in that class.
I think if we follow Vatican II and John Paul and Ex Corde, our students should be required to study religions other than the Catholic. That one of our major purposes here ought to be dialogue. And I think that the dialogue should be required of every student.
I think it would help for students to study, at least in their theology class, maybe if it's not a full course, at least within there somewhere required, learning about other religions, especially the other world religions. And I think that's so important now, especially, well, it always has been, but especially now with the conflicts in the Middle East and all around the world with Christians and Islam, and you just need to know where the people are coming from. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to engage in dialogue, which is, I think, what Pope Benedict has been talking about for a while.
Thomistic understanding, the understanding of the human person in the tradition of St. Thomas, involves the conviction that we can get some answers, that we can get somewhere philosophically. We can know that the human soul will exist after the death of the body. We can know this philosophically without our faith. We can know that God exists. We can know that God is good. We can know that God is present to us. And so the exploration philosophically, which in some places is considered to be sort of a mind game or playing around intellectually, has a purpose. And it's to understand the truth of the matter.
As a non-Catholic at the University of St. Thomas, I was actually really apprehensive going into my first philosophy class, because even though it was philosophy, I had a priest for my professor, and I was just, I don't know, that kind of made me nervous as a non-Catholic. I had never really had any interaction with priests at all, but he turned out to be actually the most understanding, the most tolerant, and maybe one of my best teachers that I've had here. So I think that people surprise you, and even though I probably wouldn't have taken it, I think that, you know, it's like eating your vegetables. It's good for you, even if you don't like it.
I think that we can serve well people of other faiths. In fact, we have maybe 30 or 40% of other faiths. Another young woman, a Hindu, I had her in metaphysics. And in metaphysics, among the many things we discuss, is the nature of God and whether we can know anything about the nature of God. And it was striking about halfway through the course, she said, you know, I'm really thinking about my understanding as a Hindu that there are millions of gods, because here I am philosophically, she says, after reading and being in class, she said, it seems to me that it's unreasonable to think that there could be millions of gods. She said, it doesn't seem reasonable. Now, what I say to students since then, I've used her as an example, is that she did not at that moment say, well, oh boy, I better stop being a Hindu and suddenly become Christian. I mean, that could happen at some point. But she said, I have to really consider what we mean when we say there are millions of gods. You know, are we making a strong philosophical claim, or are we simply saying God is everywhere or God is in everything? And I thought the principle that we hold as Catholics, that faith and reason should not contradict, should not be in conflict, was serving this young woman.
I'm a Muslim, and, you know, I mean, it was like, okay, well, why should I study another religion? Because I already have my religion and I'm kind of set to go. But taking it just made me realize how similar it is to other religions, and how really all religions teach the same thing. And it wasn't much of a difference. I just learned a lot. And yeah, I'm a Muslim, but I haven't read much of the Quran, but I've read more of the Bible. And now I'm taking a Judaism class with Jordan. So I'm getting the best of all worlds. And it's very informative. And you know, the school just shows discipline. It has discipline. And that's another reason why I think I chose this school.
Life at a Catholic university is not just academic. How about the other aspects of student life on campus?
UST counts on 3, 1, 2, 3, count!
First, there's the residential life.
What I like is that there's actually 2 dorms here. There's Augustine and Guinan, and originally last semester I stayed in Guinan, and it was great. I mean, they had a lot of programs, but for me, I really wanted to develop my faith, so I went over to Augustine, and what it really focuses on is integrating faith, academics, and life. So with faith, once a week you go to Mass together. With academics, you all take a class together, which is mathing the Catholic cultural landscape this semester. And with life, we have 3 excursions every semester, and it really builds a good community, and it's just like, I guess, living in a religious community, and a lot of times lay people don't get an opportunity to do that, and so at here you can really foster that.
The other residence is Guinan Hall.
In a residence hall, you actually build community and you help draw in others and help develop them further. And in that, we have a special budget for each hall, and we put on events, and we have to satisfy 4 different types of events. One has to be health related, community related, academic related, and spiritually related.
I think there's a men's Bible studies Wednesday nights and Tuesday nights. There's a women's Bible study. There's regular programs that we have that teach Catholic values, such as how to have a healthy relationship, how to strengthen your relationship with God.
There are also groups that cater to the spiritual needs of students on campus, such as the Campus Ministry Group.
I currently work in campus ministry, and I feel like all of the events that we have on campus for spiritual enhancement and retreats, things like that, being a part of that and planning those things is very, very important, and it's a very exciting thing to be a part of, because I feel like we get our campus ministry out there and everybody knows, and it really contributes to the fact that we are living our faith on campus.
One of the most important things that we are working on currently is really building an authentic Catholic culture on campus, and really trying to bring everyone together in community, and in a community of support, of accountability, of prayer. We are able to actively work on that project, and that's something that we can carry over into our experiences in whatever field we go into after college, to really bring our faith and really try and get to bring everyone together, just as we are all called to be the body of Christ, to really live that in a very active way.
We're working really hard to build community on campus, create links and relationships between faculty, staff, and students, and open up more opportunities for students to just get engaged and link faith and life. When we were working on the spirituality survey, we were talking about, Catholicism, and the students said we get an awful lot of theology and philosophy, and it's great, it's very strong here, but they said, I think what changes us deeply is just seeing priests and sisters walking around and being present. The aura of that, they said, changes them.
Working alongside campus ministry is the Fellowship of Catholic University Students, or FOCUS, whose missionaries work full-time to support students and enable them to get closer to Christ.
I know the Basilians at St. Thomas were really excited to bring us in, because we can reach students in a place where some of the administration and teachers can't. We're just out on the campus and a part of their everyday lives, and we're not in class or anything like that, but we're a little closer to their age generally. I think the university staff is really excited that we're here and see us getting into students' lives and really making a difference.
What FOCUS does is that incarnational evangelization, where we get out of the office, get into the students' lives, go into the dorms, the gym, the cafeteria, get them off campus, build relationships with them, and then invite them to all the exciting things that campus ministry is doing. Hopefully we're making their job easier by really building those relationships and then inviting the students to get involved with campus ministry.
There are also familiar groups on campus, like the Knights of Columbus.
Well, there's a lot of tradition with the Knights of Columbus, and we wanted a council here to get young guys involved in helping the church. We've been described by the past 3 popes as the strong right arm of the church, and we really just wanted to help the church, help our priests, and help our fellow Catholics.
Like Texas A&M, they have a council, and there's a lot of other secular universities that have a council. I think the reason is to build a Catholic community there on campus. It's not available as it is here. We have campus ministry. You can go to Mass, daily Mass. There's theology courses here. At a secular university, you're not going to have that kind of thing. So it's important for that reason.
And for the women who cannot join the Knights, there's their counterpart, the Catholic Daughters.
Well, Catholic Daughters is just an organization of young women on campus who are of the faith and wanting to show that faith and share God's love to the world.
We hope to let the campus know that we do have a Catholic presence here. We're taking on like the pro-life club, so Catholic Daughters is encompassing the pro-life club. So we're hoping to just have that presence so that people will see it and give an example to the world.
There are also many opportunities for students to be involved in social justice and service activities, as well as many groups that help students enrich their personal, academic, social, and spiritual lives.
As a Catholic, I want to make sure and infuse my Catholic values in everything that I do, and I want a future career in international studies, and I need to make sure that I have the Catholic foundation in everything that I do.
The university strives to pass on the Catholic intellectual tradition. It's really nurtured. You don't just study theology, you go to the chapel, you live it out. There is a really strong connection between faith and our academic life. There is a link between integrating whatever our profession is to our faith.
Coming to the University of St. Thomas, it's an amazing difference where you have this Catholic culture that kind of is surrounding you, it encompasses you.
A Catholic university should form leaders, people who seek the truth and see the big picture of their lives in the context of history, theology, philosophy, and science, learning from the greatest minds and, in turn, enabling others to do the same.
As we are known for doing very well at preparing students for professional schools and for business, for medicine, for law. And so we are already in a position of giving a strong liberal arts background with emphasis on theology and philosophy, but at the same time preparing people for life. For everybody has to have a job and do that well, and so we're not just giving them something that they can read about at night, but we're giving them a much more whole and substantial education.
UST counts on 3, 1, 2, 3, count!
Well, this has certainly been very interesting. For one, I've learned that a Catholic university, to be Catholic, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to have a chapel or that it has to have priests and nuns as faculty members or that they have to have adoration and Knights of Columbus, although those things are very good. But that the approach to education has to be a universal one, a well-rounded one. After all, that's what Catholic means, right? Universal.
Well, for my part, I'm really proud to know that universities have Christian roots, and that for a Catholic college or university today to be true to those Christian roots means that it's beneficial for not only Catholics or Christians, but for all of us.
If you want to comment on anything you've heard in this Catholic Focus episode, to tell us about which university you attended to and why, send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. focus@saltandlighttv.org.
And for now, for Catholic Focus, this is Bacani.
And I'm Pedro Guevara Mann.